A man shot when trying to stop a carjacking. Some concerning information comes out about last week's mass shooting. And Dom, the first safe injection site has officially opened here in Philadelphia.
Progress.
That's all this week in KRASNERLAND. Everybody, my name is Dan Borowski, the producer of the Dom Giordano program on 1210 WPHT, with the aforementioned Dom Giordano. And Dom, first off, let's start off with this mass shooting. This week, Bruce Castor came on. He's representing a 13-year-old who was shot in the legs. A very, very horrific situation that played out in Concessing. But we like to, be fair when we're not only coming after Krasner, but when the police make a gaffe, I think it's fair to call attention to the mistake that police made, Dom. A pretty big one here with the 911 dispatcher sending cops to the wrong location.
Well, I don't know that that's the police. Those are civilian employees who are questionable. Yep. Viewers, Dan, may remember the case of Eddie Pollett, Polec, that made international news, was shameful. For an hour, these dispatchers, and I used to play the tapes on the air, were woeful. One didn't know where Ron Street was, if you can imagine, in Philadelphia, and was a 911 operator. So I blame the police chief, and I blame just that she hasn't recruited people for that office. Maybe they're overwhelmed. But also, you're right in the sense that this slip shot stuff creeps in. So if you heard gunshots and you were sent to the west side versus the east side, might it occur that you ask some questions about this? But in Philadelphia, particularly with this police commissioner and mayor, anything goes. Who cares?
Yeah. NBC 10's report, Dom. Take a watch.
Yeah, Jackie, that call came from South 56th Street, but officers were dispatched to North 56th Street, about a 3-mile, 10 to 15-minute drive away. Last week, NBC 10 spoke to a woman who said she made that 911 call. And today, community members, along with city leaders, are questioning whether the mistake may have impacted the mass shooting on Monday and the investigation.
We will seek to determine the why and the how this happened, and also to see if any and all policies and procedures were followed.
New information in the mass shooting on South 56th Street in Concessing shows victim Joseph Wama died early Sunday morning, hours before Philadelphia police say the suspect, now under arrest, shot and killed 4 other people at random Monday night. Investigators now say a botched dispatch from early Sunday for a report of shots fired sent officers to the wrong location, not Wama's house where he was gunned down.
So, Dom, are you one of the believers that think this might have been prevented had the dispatcher actually sent the cop to the correct location?
Potentially, yeah. Well, other than I don't see high alert with outlaw ever. And Dan, here's the thing. It's the same nonsense that this woman does that we've seen play out in Washington this week. How long does it take to investigate this? You get the person in the room. Mm-hmm. You have the tapes of this. Everything is kept, at least as I understand it, right? And you get what they told the police response. You get the 911 operator to tell you what they did, what they said. Well, you already have it on tape. Give us their analysis, and then you have the cops do it. Doesn't that seem that might take a couple hours?
Yeah, it's just a sad mistake too, and I think it levels to the incompetency that we have here in Philadelphia. It's Krasner's
mixed in with the what the hell? Who's going to do anything about it?
Yeah. And someone tried to do something about it in South Philadelphia, Dom. A guy saw a carjacking kind of playing out in front of him. Yeah, and take a watch. Steve Keeley, man, I just want to highlight again how great of a reporter Steve Keeley is. Take a watch of his report on this.
Yeah, carjackers kill another Philadelphia man. This guy is 50. He owns the car but wasn't in his car, and he lived 4 blocks from the scene, and it's right on Porter Avenue. This is the safest section of South Philadelphia. This is in the 3rd Police District, the safest of the 3 districts normally. But now this proves that creeps are driving around armed looking for an easy mark. And so 2 guys are driving around in a Kia SUV, and they see a woman about 40 in the driver's seat talking to a friend, double parked. And they stop, put a gun to her head, order her to get out. That's when the owner of the car, a friend of the woman, starts walking up saying, what's going on here? And they blow him away. Gets shot in the head, rated 10:45. The medics rush to the scene in a fire department ambulance, and he's pronounced dead right there on the street.
It's petrifying. Carjackings, man.
The thing that's most noteworthy, and Steve did say this sort of there, but I would say I'm looking at Broad and Porter. There's a restaurant there, Roe and I like, and Broad and Porter is as safe, almost, I would say, other than the pickleball courts in Chestnut Hill. So 12th and Porter is pretty much no different. And I wanted to emphasize it's very safe, at least the last time I was down there, Dan. And if it happens there, you have these guys randomly, they don't care where they're going, seeing someone. Again, you can't sit there in the car and engage in this. I'm not blaming the victim. I'm just telling you, this is how bad it is because of Krasner. I bet these people have had all kinds of run-ins with the law. You just don't shoot a guy in that situation dead, not even take the vehicle, etc. Shoot him in the head. And it's just another day in the city. Again,
I feel like we've gotten to the point in the city, Dom, where if a criminal thinks that something you own is his or hers, you just got to step out of the way. If they determine that they look at something and say, that car, that's mine, you just say, move out of the way and pretty much give it to them because that's the environment that's been created here.
As I understand it, though, we don't know fully, but Steve's reporting some things I've seen. The guy was more disturbed that they had the gun to the head or were pointing the gun at the woman, the female.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we don't know what he said or how he did. I don't think it was the car per se. I think it was that part. And even there, you got to hope, and you're at their mercy, unless you have the ability to draw and hopefully kill the two of them right there. And I'm betting they're pretty young in this situation, from what we hear. Bottom line is, though, other than Steve Keeley, I didn't see anything in the news, the NBC 10, they're not emphasizing safe part of the city. They don't want you to think about it in those terms because that gets to the ugly truth that there really are no completely safe or anywhere near completely safe areas.
Yeah. And it's not safe for police officers either, Dom. There was an incident that happened, another Fox 29 report here about a Philadelphia officer who made a traffic stop and was dragged 200 feet by a person in a Tesla. The lack of respect for police officers is effusive throughout the city, it seems.
Yeah, and this guy, I hope he's not turned off by this, is a rookie cop hero. And Dan, first thing I heard here, much tinted windows. Here we go again. Are they legal?
Yep.
Police have found the Tesla they were searching for. The Tesla, the driver inside that Tesla dragged a cop.
Oh, it's Keeley again. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right, well, we had the address. We just withheld it because we didn't want the public all going to this guy's house. But there's a charging port in front of his house. It's right around the corner. He thought he was going to outsmart everybody, so he parks the Tesla.
Right, let me just pause real quick. And as someone in media, tons of respect to Steve Keeley for being there in front of the tow truck as it's getting loaded in front of the tow. They go to him live as it's perfect. It's just perfect.
And yet nobody seems to recognize it. Maybe not even at Fox 29. It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner. He thought he was going to outsmart everybody, so he parks the Tesla with the broken out headlight, just as we were told.
Parks it
and
around
now
the
you can
corner.
see Philly police already getting ready to impound this Tesla here in North Philly, right off York and 7th Street. So they found the car parallel parked. There is the matching plate that police gave us too, LZW 0052. And so it looks like they're looking just for the driver right now. So no sign of him at his house unless he just dove out of there before the police arrived, but he parked it here. And if you're just joining us at 9:40 last night, this Tesla was spotted by a young highway patrol officer running a red light. He pulls it over and you can see the tinted glass so the officer can't see inside. The driver opens the door so the officer can see inside. He sees a gun on the floorboard, reaches for the gun. The Tesla, running quiet because it's electric, floors it in reverse, drags the officer 100 feet in reverse, then floors it in drive, goes another 100 feet forward. Then the driver kicked the officer till the officer was out of the car, left the officer sprawled out on the street, and took off from Cheltenham Avenue, and not seen until spotted this morning. And I talked to neighbors around here and said that car is charging every day in front of the guy's house on Cumberland, so they know who the driver is as well. And they were watching the news this morning on Fox 29 and came over and told me what they knew. So there you go. Philly police have the car. They just don't have the driver. More of Good Day Philadelphia when we come back.
God, that guy is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nerve of this guy, he's going to get away with something like this. By the way, I wonder what Councilman Isaiah Thomas, who gave us the so-called driving equity law, does the media ever think to ask that yo-yo about the fact if you read or go through a red light, should the cop pursue that? Because in his heart of hearts, he'd probably say, no, look at what happened here. He wouldn't have been dragged.
Yeah, and you talk about the yo-yos out there in City Hall. They did gather this past week along with Larry Krasner, sat around a enormous round table. Hold on, let me bring up the picture first. Look at this table they sat around.
You know what? This is the way out of crime. Get bigger round tables. What the heck is going on?
It looks like something out of Star Wars. You think the thing, hold on, let me get my mouse. This thing right here, you think it rotates and they can put like food on it and like
turn it's a lazy Susan.
Yeah, it's a giant lazy Susan.
Anymore. It's probably politically correct. How could Susan be lazy? But yeah, why's a lazy Susan named Lazy Susan?
Let's take a listen.
That's in Krasner's office?
I don't know where it is. They just had a meeting somewhere. I mean, it looks like it's a bunch of people. This thing's is Kenyatta, I think. You got some cops there. I think this is probably in City Hall.
My God. These
I guess Krasner's office is in City Hall.
It looks like they're a galactic council in the Star Wars boardroom.
How can we screw up this city faster?
Yeah, let's see the honorable. I can't see the names there. Outlaw couldn't make it to this.
Yeah, who's missing here?
Well, I know this person over here, Dan, but it'll stay nameless between us.
All right, take a watch, Tom.
Yeah.
Philadelphia police, the DA, lawmakers, and more looking to tackle one of the biggest challenges facing our city, gun violence. City Council member Kenyatta Johnson called the hearing to find out how all these agencies can work together.
We're in a state of a crisis. We're in a state of emergency around the issue of gun violence. So the only way we're going to solve is by having everybody at the table.
The first step involves stopping gun violence that's happening now.
Wait a minute, stop for a second. This is the guy who might be the new city council president. He's also the yo-yo who banned, his bill would ban balconies and bay windows. Now, you've been to the Dom Giordano estates. You know how Roe prizes that bay window. He did it to stop so-called gentrification. This guy's going to solve that when he's banning balconies.
Hold on. I got to stop. What is the mindset here? No bay windows is like to stop.
You Google his name. Yeah, Kenyatta.
It wouldn't hinder construction whatsoever because contractors would just then not build bay windows. It's not going to stop them from still, renovating places.
Well, it won't be. It'll be not out of the character of the neighborhood though. If you have balconies, I like a nice balcony and bay window. Yes, he said it was gentrification. Meanwhile, he's involved in constant legal trouble trials around all sorts of kickbacks, allegedly, etc. So, he's worried about balconies and bay windows.
At the table.
The first step involves stopping gun violence that's happening now, and Philadelphia police believe they're making headway. Police numbers show 227 homicides so far this year, down 21% year to date. Deputy Commissioner John Stanford says they've seen numbers fall since last year when police identified areas where the most violence was happening.
The first class that was graduating at December, academy class, around 35 officers, we deployed them to those 4 core districts. The next class that came out in March, we did the same thing.
District Attorney Larry Krasner made his pitch for a state-of-the-art.
One more note here. That's the guy that's in charge of the Wawa 100 riot at the Wawa in Mayfair, who said we're examining social media to make arrests.
This guy?
Yeah, that guy. So
these freeze frames are perfect. I got to tell you.
Yeah. Yes. Man. Is this guy commanding the military or what with the stars on? But here's another guy. That's his background. You got Kenyatta Johnson. Of course, you have Larry Krasner there.
We did the same thing.
Here comes Larry
District Attorney Larry Krasner made his pitch for a state-of-the-art forensics lab. He says it'll help police solve cases faster and deter future criminals.
You ever try to get a fingerprint in the city of Philadelphia? Well, good luck, because you're going to be waiting a long time. This makes no sense. You want people to stop shooting, let them know they'll get caught.
But officials...
Whoa. Hold on, Larry. Who are you speaking to there?
Yeah.
This makes no sense. You want people to stop shooting, let them know they'll get caught.
I'm sorry, wasn't it one of your staffers that sent to the Philadelphia Inquirer that illegal guns alone aren't enough to arrest somebody?
Yeah, we're not going to arrest our way out of this problem. Right, gee, Larry. Maybe it will be his bicycles with his little hat on and suit.
That guy, man. And in the meantime, like you have Larry Krasner sitting at the table, nobody turns to him and says, "Larry, stop your bull crap and let's actually make the city safer."
Right.
You have a university that now has to raise tuition prices again, instead of just being honest and saying, "Hey, let's make our campus safer, so we don't have to pay out the nose for what are they? The second biggest police force? Temple?
Their biggest police department in the state after Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and I think they're closing on Pittsburgh, and that's all good. Dan, as long as they can attract goofball students from the suburbs who want the urban experience, living 4 or 5 blocks either way from the center of Temple's campus, then you're going to have misery.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to cost more for students to attend Temple University come this fall. The school just raised tuition by more than 4% for students from Pennsylvania. In-state based tuition will now cost nearly $9,000 a semester. Out-of-state tuition has been raised to about $16,000 a semester. Temple says it is cutting its own budget by more than 4% in an effort to try to keep tuition numbers down.
Yeah.
No, it's an effort to stay afloat because what they left out, they guesstimate they're going to lose 2,000 students. That's what the issue is. And TV news is never going to say what we say routinely. You cannot live X number of blocks away from the area in Temple without, over the course of 4 years, statistically, you're going to be held up, attacked, raped, shot, or witness all the above.
You got to live off campus if you're going to attend there, it seems. Like I wouldn't trust my kid to live on campus and walk to class on a daily basis.
I mean, they do have dorms, and one dorm is on Broad Street, but the other dorm did have bullet holes in the windows. So there's that.
Wow. So let's move out to the suburbs. We often talk about KRASNERLAND. It's not just a Philadelphia-centric issue. It's the crime seeps out to the suburbs. People get the idea that if they can commit crime in the biggest city in the area, then they can probably get away with it in the smaller suburbs. For most of the time, we know, especially in Pat Malloy's Abington, that not to be the case. The cops take their jobs much more seriously. The DAs actually prosecute. But Darby Township has a solution for some carjackings. Dom, what's your take on it?
Been reporting about the increase in thefts of Kia and Hyundai cars, and now Darby Township Police are trying to help drivers protect their cars from being stolen. So the department is giving away steering wheel locks to Kia and Hyundai owners free of charge. You can pick up a wheel lock at Darby Township Police Headquarters any weekday between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. while supplies last. You, though, will need to show proof of residency and also your vehicle's registration.
So I primarily wanted to get that out for the PSA, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm fine with police doing that. I taught in Darby Township, and even then, pretty bad.
Yeah. It's sad. Let's go over to Jersey, South Jersey suburbs. How about West Deptford, Dom? A crazy situation out there.
But first tonight, we begin with breaking news out of Gloucester County, New Jersey. That's where a shelter in place was just lifted in West Deptford as police continue the search for a suspect they say stole a police cruiser with a canine inside. It happened around 7 tonight when officers were working another scene in Paulsboro. You can see the massive police presence with Skyfox overhead. Investigators eventually found the patrol car abandoned and recovered the canine left inside unharmed.
Thank God.
Police do say there is no longer a threat to the community.
Stealing a dog, a canine in a police car, Dom.
Well, in the past, we would have said, since it's Deptford, oh, maybe these people are from Camden. Now I'm thinking, nah, maybe they were at the mall from Philadelphia.
Along with the liberal policies of Larry Krasner in Philadelphia, I mean, on the Dom Show 12 to 3, we often talk about the liberal progressive policies of the Biden administration and the refusal to take the border seriously. And in Wilmington, Delaware, they're seeing the effects directly of that, combined with the area being known, I guess, nationwide as a place that you can come and commit crime and kind of get away with it. Watch what's happening now in Wilmington, Dom.
Security video shows the frightening moments a man wearing a hooded sweatshirt and gloves pierced through a glass door before trying to open it at this home near Wilmington last week. He eventually breaks a window to get inside.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Joshua Huang says the burglar took off with belongings and cash.
There was like a door open and the stuff was moved. And so the neighbors or something called the police already. So When we got back, the police were here.
Newcastle County Police say the suspect may be linked to a group of burglars called crime tourists who target homes with expensive jewelry and cash. Corporal Michael McNasby explains.
Folks coming from different countries, conducting these residential burglaries and then fleeing back with stolen property.
Newcastle County Police are investigating 20 home burglaries this year, an uptick from last year. They say vacant homes are being targeted and the alleged criminals are using high-powered walkie-talkies to communicate instead of cell phones.
Just easier to communicate, and it doesn't leave that trail of breadcrumbs that a cell phone might be in the case.
They can't be tracked with a walkie-talkie.
No, not tracked.
And the suspects may be specifically targeting Asian business owners.
Because they typically have, valuables cash on hand, so they are being targeted in some cases, yes.
If there's
So a lot of wrinkles to the story, Dom. Go
I
ahead.
can help the police. They're probably administrators formerly or currently of Harvard University if they're going after Asian people. So be looking for that. Yeah.
It's like I again, you have a situation at the border where people are now coming from other countries on tourism, knowing that they can probably get away with these burglaries because lackadaisical policing is happening in the country right now because of the progressive reform happening all over the place. It's a sad state that we find ourselves in this country.
Yeah, and particularly we're one of the capitals of it. It grinds on every day. We're actually seeing, since the last time we talked, people attacking Wawa because Wawa moved stores out of here. We talked about Wawa, Temple, and 100 others. Does Temple ever say it shouldn't be this bad in this neighborhood? Why is that? Nope. They just raise tuition and move on.
Yeah. Minnie. Hi, Minnie. It's nice to see you
Hi,
again.
Minnie.
She says that a dog, the canine officer, was found. Yeah,
Yeah.
you heard at the end of the report there that the canine was indeed found. I reacted. I might have cut the audio there. All right, let's go up to Dom, Willow Grove now. The Willow Grove Mall. This made big news this week. An abduction.
Around
take a watch.
7 o'clock this evening, a 14-year-old female was at the Willow Grove Mall shopping with some friends. They became separated. After they became separated, she was approached by two men. We believe them to be in their late 20s to mid 30s. They approached her. They began talking to her at first, and one grabbed her under the arm and tried to pull her with him. She tried to pull away from him, and he tightened his grasp, grabbed her hand with his other arm, and said, "No, you're coming over here with me." She was clearly frightened. She was afraid. She tried to identify herself as 13 years old, but he continued to hold a grip on her, trying to walk her with him. There was another male with the suspect who grabbed her. They were trying to get her towards an exit, and she was able to break free. She ran home and contacted police.
Willow Grove, first off, Dom, give us a little context as to how that mall is.
Yeah, Willow Grove Mall has not been good for several years, and Pat Malloy, it's in his area of command, says it's gotten a whole lot worse since Philadelphia. People stealing catalytic converters, attacking people in the parking lot. So it doesn't surprise me that this would happen here, and that she started yelling and screaming, and that's why they let her go. Again, it seems to be potentially human trafficking or something these idiots were involved in.
Wow. Which brings me to, I guess, mention Sound of Freedom.
Yes.
Why not? You going to check that one out this weekend? I think I'm going to go see it.
Yep, that's on the agenda. It's going to be a hard film to watch, particularly with Roe. My God, Roe shut her eyes during Dunkirk. So,
yeah, I mean, maybe go with DJ or Luke. Or, yeah, it's a tough watch. So finally, Dom, I joke at the beginning. I don't know if people actually took me seriously when I say the first safe injection site is open. It's actually something much better than that. It's a first public restroom has opened in Philadelphia. And Dom, we joke because the way they have it set up, it's almost like they're inviting people to come use the toilet, the public restroom, for drug use. So in other words, yeah, it's not a supervised injection. No one's supervising it, but it's definitely safe. It's a safe place to inject.
How much they're spending on salaries for the 3 people that have to clean it?
The poop patrol?
It's $650,000 a year.
Wait. So each person's getting $200,000?
I saw the figure in the paper, and I'm not sure if that's going to be for more than one. but that's the overall figure. There might be 2 of them, I guess. I can't imagine. But for this job, how much do you think you should be paid? Needles. I think you ought to be paid $100 a year for 8-hour shift to clean it.
Yeah. It was clean during this video. Stephanie Farr, Philadelphia Inquirer reporter, went and spent some time, went and used it for, research sake. Take a watch.
All right, y'all. I am inside Philly's first Center City Public Blue. It has a purse hanger. Very nice.
Again with
quite
the purse.
Clean so far. No floor on it. Goes right to the sidewalk. Only open.
Oh, wait, hold on. I love that she says clean so far, Dom, and then she pans down to the floor, which is just absolutely disgusting. Yeah. Oh.
It's quite clean so far. No floor on it. Goes right to the sidewalk. Only open from 8 to 10 Monday to Friday and until 11 on weekends.
Fascinating material from the Inquirer.
Oh my God Almighty! Can you imagine? Numbers to know? Oh my goodness!
Changing station.
A naloxone station.
Naloxone station.
Why?
Wow, they even have sanitary products.
So you can fill your gaping wounds from your addiction.
No condoms? Can you listen to the Dom Giordano show?
Sanitizer inside.
They should put a bumper or one of the stickers in.
KRASNERLAND, you know? And there is still toilet paper.
Tell Greg
All right.
Scott it's a whole new listening
Cut
group.
this off, take some stuff off the record, and I will get back to you.
Take some stuff off the record. It's you want to do a live remote from the Philadelphia Flush, Dom?
Oh, absolutely. I can imagine the great guests lining up one after another.
Stephanie Farr wrote that about an hour after she showed up there, it broke down and got clogged.
Yes, of course.
So another Philadelphia failure.
It should be named the Kenny, but we don't get our way yet.
And how long before that thing is covered in graffiti and stickers
or the homeless make it a quasi shelter? That's what's going to happen.
And would you include the naloxone in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Like it enables it to a degree. I mean, you can come in there if you get sick, then you can just reach over and grab it. You know.
Well, I don't want people to die of an overdose. I'm
with you.
Saying. Yeah. So now I don't know if they'll steal it or how it will work, but yeah.
And Minnie points out the grossest part. The right here. It's the you mentioned it on air.
Center City Public Blue.
Yes.
It has a purse hanger.
Yeah.
And she puts your purse there. You know, I tell Rhoda, we went through this, you know, the purse and the whole. Oh, so this guy writes me. So what are you doing? You know, you're walking inside a bathroom. Aren't you? You should be in a bubble then. Right away, going nuts. The purse is a dirty thing here. I don't know how you do allergies. Putting it on here. Come on.
It's gross.
It's not like you're in a fancy salon or somebody's house. Come on.
My final comment is, I know I might be redundant, but Philadelphia Inquirer was once a great institution with hundreds of staff writers reporting on crime, giving information about the innards of government in Philadelphia, giving detailed reports of crime that's happening on our streets. Now they don't have anyone dedicated as a, quote, crime reporter. They're scared to admit any of the reporters are crime reporters. But they have time to send an individual out to Philadelphia Flush for 3 hours to go wait for people to come use the public restroom so that she can get reactions to the new Philadelphia Flush. I'm excuse my language. It's effing bullshit. Like Philadelphia Inquirer, you have a community responsibility here to report on what's going on in the city, and we're wasting resources, a very slim amount of resources you have left, on feature stories about the Philadelphia Flush. Give me a break.
I'd like to have a 3-part series on Larry Krasner's Starship Enterprise table that was going on there, or the police department. It's wildly inappropriate. It looks like it costs, with all that stuff in the middle of it, probably $20,000 to $30,000.
Yeah.
They ought to be sitting there. What they deserve are folding tables with no doily over it and stiff folding chairs that may or may not be wobbling. That's what they ought to be sitting on. At least what Krasner didn't make. The Starship Enterprise didn't make people stand up around him on the little placards. Look at this. We got to find out where that is. That is remarkable.
I'm genuinely curious if this is a lazy Susan. Like, this is a dream table for me if it's a lazy Susan. Can you imagine the amount of, you can do entire Thanksgiving dinner on that thing.
Yeah, and look at the fancy columns in the back over there too. Yeah.
Hey Dom, can you pass me the turkey? Hold on a sec.
Yeah, he's right here. He's right there. Yeah.
Oh man, the Kras.
Hey Minnie, do your magic. Photoshop that some way, shape, or form. Come on now, put me in there.
I want Dom,
seat right here. Yeah.
Rich Zioli, maybe Greg, Nick, me.
Nice to the round table. You know, put me in a fancy suit, puff my hair up even more, and have me looking right over here. Or is there a seat next to Krasner open? Look at these geniuses.
Minnie writes Dan can put his Lunchables on that table. I can fit a lot more than Lunchables on that table.
Yeah, and make this like the Last Supper that's going on here. Can you imagine what they're saying in this meeting?
I love it, man. I love it. Well, tomorrow, Dom, we got Jeff Van Drew coming on. He spoke with FBI Director Christopher Wray in that hearing. Had a lot to say about pus and dentistry.
Yes.
And abscess is a very...
And we have Hands Across the Beach that he's a major part of on Saturday in Ocean City on 14th Street, where people, I hope they show up. I'm still looking for a celebrity that would say, yeah, you're ruining the Jersey Shore. And my quote of the day was that woman that the Inquirer found from the Ocean City area that said, this is going to be great. Just like a freighter when they pass out there on the ocean, you have something to look at. Hey, lady, just look at the ocean.
I'm looking in the mirror here. I just saw this, the families behind the badge real quick. While we're here talking about KRASNERLAND, there's a lot of police support from our viewers. If you're unaware, what's the website? GregStalkerSucks.com? Is that where they're sending people?
For the Ben and Nick Kale. I have my investigators claims to have done 25 miles on the bike. Oh boy, he claims.
Yeah, he's posting like updates on Twitter. So he's doing the Bend to the Shore this year. That's that ride. It's a huge ride from the Ben Franklin Bridge all the way to the Jersey Shore.
I would say if you could do 25 in practice, the adrenaline of the day and all that, you might be able to do it.
Okay, you think he's going to do it?
Yeah.
Again, that's at GregStalkerSucks.com. They've raised $12,000. The goal was $5,000. They've already doubled that, but they want to keep going for those families of police officers and all. So if you can do us a favor, I'm here on KRASNERLAND, want to donate to help some police and donate to help the 1210 team as we raise money for Nick Kale's run. That's, again, GregStalkerSucks.com. I did not have any set up in that website, neither did Dom, but it's the easiest way to get there. Dom, that's all we got for KRASNERLAND today. We will pray, we'll hope that it's a safer week and we don't have much to talk about next week for KRASNERLAND. But Dom, any last words before we sign off?
No, it's what could happen next here in Philadelphia. You can barely project it, but if it's possible, something wild, any day, anytime it could happen.
It's true. All right. Talk to you all tomorrow, noon at the Dom Giordano program. We'll be right here on YouTube. See you there. Bye-bye.